Welcome to Design Build Workshop. Today we're going to talk about the Creality K1 printer. So this is going to be a one-year review with the Creality K1 printer. My background is an industrial designer, so when I use a 3D printer, a lot of times I'm making either a prototype, like a life-size prototype, or I'm making a maquette. So for instance, this was the maquette I produced for the wing shelf that's behind me. And then this is an Art Deco desk that I was working on that had the CPU would go right here, and this would be the front of the desk. These were both done on a Creality Ender 3. So you can see the layer lines, if you can see that from where you are. They're pretty significant. I lived with the Creality Ender 3 for about 3 to 4 years. I think it was a good experience to start with that printer, because it was, there was a lot of tweaking that had to get done. I had to assemble the thing when I got it. I changed out the hot end at one point because I wanted to print nylon. I learned a lot of different things as far as how the printer operated and things I had to kind of tweak to make it work better for what I was trying to use it for. So going to the K1 was a big jump for me, especially with the speed. That's one of the things I really like about the K1. So this is an example of pieces that I've printed out on the K1. So this is a little ridiculous, but this was for a headlight housing to go on my Jeep. It's way too long. I need to cut this back by quite a bit. But this is just basically a prototype to test fit to see how this would work. It basically clicks on the light. Needs to be a little bit tighter because it still moves a little bit. But that's something I would, I kind of do. And then, of course, I'll 3D print HO scale building models, and I've got a number of those. Here's an example of a trestle. All these were printed on the K1. A prototype piece for the end of a barrel that I'm working on. And of course, I did the video on the blaster or the ray gun. This is all done on the K1, other than some of the assembled parts. And let's see what else. Oh, and these, I've got some flanges here that I'm working on for another project. And then this is the newer version of this. This is just kind of like a quick one and done kind of deal. And this is going to be more of the final piece when it's fully assembled and cleaned up and put together. Here are some unnecessary shots of the K1 in action. I'm showing the printing of the trestle piece along with the HO scale roof for the building I was showing before. All videos that are doing a review of a printer usually show the printer in action. They all look the same, they all do the same thing. The K1 just does it really well. I really appreciate your viewership, and if you have found some value in this video, please like and subscribe. The best thing about the K1 is its speed. I've cut in half a lot of the stuff that I would print on the Ender 3. So, and it's really accurate. I've only had one failed print. I take that back, maybe I've had two, but both of them were my fault. I was trying to push the parameters of the machine further than it was able to go. Another one was printing some of these pieces, and when I used the slicing software, it kind of overlapped two of them, and I just didn't notice. So, once again, that was my fault for not paying attention. The slicing software is, I use the Creality software that comes with the K1. When I was using the Ender 3, I was still using Cura, which works, absolutely fine. But the Creality slicing software works really well. It's almost intuitive as far as putting in support and that kind of thing. I'm still playing around with support and kind of fine-tuning some things. Like I said, I mostly print prototypes, so I'm not necessarily looking to get like really high quality prints right away. Now, when I do, something like this, right, then I've got little bricks and all that kind of thing that's in here. This I want to get a lot of detail out of, so I slow down the printer, of course, and decrease my layer lines, layer thicknesses, that kind of thing. But living with it for a year now, I guess about a year, it's been fantastic. I can't recommend a K1 more. I didn't go with a K1 Pro just because I didn't want to pay that much more between the two. So I thought, well, this is only my second printer, so I'll go ahead and try to do just the K1 first and see if I like the K1, and then if that keeps producing for me, then maybe we'll look at a K1 Pro. I like to keep things off my desktop if I can. It looks pretty cluttered right now, but because of that, I've built my design desk so that I can keep my printer in the desk itself. Thanks again for joining me on Design Build Workshop. Hope to see you again next week.